This is from Mariful Quran, page 133. So let's look at the first verse, Qaf, wal Quran al Majid. The letter Qaf is related to the following attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is Al-Qayyum, He is Al-Qadir, He is Al-Qabid, He is Al-Razaq, and He is Muntaqim. So Al-Qayyum, He is to remain. Al-Qadir, that He can do what He wills. Al-Qabid, He can get out our souls. Al-Razaq, He can give us rizq of any kind. He is Muntaqim, He can take revenge whenever He likes. So, these words, Al-Qayyum, Al-Qawi, Al-Qabiz, Al-Qadir, Al-Quddus, Al-Qahhar, all we can see contain the letter Qaf. Also such attributes as Al-Baqi, Al-Razaq, Al-Khaliq. So these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are related to various themes of this surah. Further, this letter is related to many verses and words in the surah. Qaf wal Quran al Majid. So look at the first letter and the Quran. Quran begins with Qaf and Qaf begins the surah. And Qaf is in the beginning of the surah, Qaf is in the whole Quran, and Qaf in this surah. So we study this surah with reference to Qaf. So the following verses are specially to be noted for their message as well as how these make prominent use of the sound Qa. So look at the first one, فَقَالَ الْكَافِرُونَ فَقَالَ الْكَافِرُونَ, and they said, and the disbelievers said. So their qal and their qawl in Arabic means the talking. Saying, interestingly, it is the qa that rules one's talk, and death is the absence of speech. Al-qil and qal. Ironically, the denial of the Creator gets support from the very tool He has created. So they say, هَذَا شَيْءٌ عَجِيب. This is very strange. What is strange? The next verse is, أَإِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا ذَلِكَ رَجٌ بَعِيدٌ. When we are dead and have become dust, that would be a far return. Interestingly, look at the first verse, أَإِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا. When we die and become dust. So we can see that in every verse there is the theme of death going on. And Allah tells the disbelievers, I have the knowledge and power to return the dead to life. The grammatical particle qad gives authority to the statement, qad alimna ma tanqusul ardu minhum. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, qad, surely we know what the earth reduces from the dead body. Bal kazzabu bil haqq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but they are denying the truth. And look at the word haqq, again emphasized. And when it is said, bal kazzabu bil haqq, we can see the emphasis clearly. And we send down from the sky blessed water, whereby we give growth unto gardens, and the grain of crops, and lofty date palms with arranged clusters. We provide rizq. It says rizqan lil ibad. Wa ahyayna bihi baladatam mayyatan. And all this is provision for men. And therewith we quicken a dead land, even so will be the resurrection of the dead. As I said earlier, the whole surah is replete with the theme of death and life after death. Then the next verse says, verse number 12, كَذَّبَتْ قَبْلَهُمْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ وَأَصْحَابُ الرَّسِّ وَثَمُودٍ. Now emphasis is on the qablahum and the qawm. Again, qaf, the letter qaf, can be seen as focus. قَبْلَهُمْ كَذَّبَتْ قَبْلَهُمْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ وَأَصْحَابِ الرَّسِّ وَثَمُودٍ وَقَوْمِ تُبَّعٍ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَعَيْنَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ. Are we tired by the creation of first time? بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبَسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. But they are in doubt about the second coming or the second creation. بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ وَالْخَلْقِ الْجَدِيدِ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ. And we created man. And then Allah says, نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ. And I am the closest. I am, and we are the closest. And then the jugular vein, we can see that we know that He is closer to us than our jugular vein. So the cutthroat argument, the closeness of God to man and the departure point of soul are the same. The throat and the sound is produced near the throat. So this is closest point to the articulation of Qaf and the sound uttered by dying. Interestingly, Qaf is uttered here, and this is the last sound which is uttered by the departing soul. Now the next thing comes after death. What happens? Is yatalaqqal mutalaqqiyan. When death arrives, the two receivers receive, seated on the right hand and on the left. Is yatalaqqal mutalaqqiyan. When death arrives, the two receivers receive, seated on the right hand and on the left. 5 different names used for angels which are unique to this surah. The word Sa'iq, the driving force; Qarinuhu, the friend; Raqib, the rival; Mutalaqqiyan, those who are sitting there. And we note very interestingly that all these contain the letter Qaf. Again see Sa'iq, Qarinuhu, Raqib, Mutalaqqiyan and Qaid.